What's up, everybody? I'm Sly The Movie Guy, and here's my movie review of Upgrade, directed by Leigh Whannell, the director of Insidious Chapter 3, stars Logan Marshall Green and the rest of the other cast and crew. And in this film, a brutal mugging leaves Gray Trace paralyzed in the hospital and his beloved wife dead. A billionaire inventor soon offers Trace a cure, an artificial intelligent implant called STEM, that will enhance his body. Now able to walk, Gray finds that he also has superhuman strength and agility skills he uses to seek revenge against the thugs who destroyed his life. And this is a June movie and very late review. I was trying to get around this movie, but so many movies kept coming out and I had a whole lot on my plate. Then TV shows that I've been watching came out, so that's kind of everything was just piling up, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do when I'm going to get a chance to see it? Recently, I had a chance to see this movie, and I say it's good. I had a great time with this movie. It has some issues, which I will mention later, but let me talk about the good about this movie, the storyline. The story about Gray, the character, is really done well. I really care for this character. When the thugs kind of like brutalized him and messed him up as film's going on and killed his wife, I really felt that really hit me here. And I like when movies do that, because if a movie can make me care for the main character like that, they doing a good thing. And I give this movie 2 thumbs up for that, because as the movie going on, as when you see him, and no spoilers, when he's in a hospital bed, basically, it really showed where he's really was suffering. And when the inventor comes in and asks him these things, do you want this thing or whatever, and they put the STEM thing in him, the thing ends up talking to him, this little voice thing, and it's basically like technology thing. It talks to him, so you get to hear that as the movie as it's going on. And it was telling him, so basically he can stand up, he can move his arms and everything, and it tells him what to do and everything. So all that was really good, and I thought that film really does that very well here. The directing here is really done well too. I'm gonna mention that too. The directing, I thought Leigh Whannell really actually did good. His directing here really is done superiorly well. I really give the 2 thumbs up for that. I'm not gonna go into much the detail, because this movie might contain spoilers of how he directed it. But I'll say his directing and the camera work here is really good. Like when it gets to the action, it really stays focused on it really well. So I say those aspects really worked in this film. And the more I'm going to say the storyline, because that's the one I really thought they did well for Gray, is we get to see him go through this revenge path. And when we see that, the movie makes you get very invested. Like, you really want to see him find out who killed his wife and stuff. And I thought they did that extremely, like, get you guessing and stuff, make you get invested, makes it suspense. You're like, oh, what's gonna happen? It almost felt like a 80s movie or something like that, like original, like an 80s film. It puts me in that vibe of that, and I really was like, oh, that's really kind of clever. Because so many movies now just make things kind of don't make it make sense. And now this movie make a lot of sense in a lot of ways. So you kind of like feel like you're watching an 80s movie, or the one that came out in the 90s, something like that. So I like how this movie went a little bit old school with that. And it puts in a mind of like futuristic things, like future of science and technology. And this movie does that so well. It will actually, I think, will hold up as time goes on too with this film. This film will actually holds up with the technology stuff, like you would see this in the future and stuff like that. Unlike Back in the Future and other films like Blade Runner, you've seen the things that you would see like technology in the future. So I really appreciate how this film utilized that well, because there's so many aspects that we see in our world with the touch screen and stuff. You do this and that. It's kind of puts a smile on my face, where I was very pleased with the actions. Like I mentioned it a little bit in this review, but I want to say the action part I was very pleased with it. One of the parts, it was very funny where he was learning how, when the thing was telling him what to do when he meets one of the thugs or something in the middle of the film where he's like fighting him. It was some parts I did laugh at because some of the action parts was kind of like, huh? But I get what he was doing because this is his first time learning how to use his super strength and all that and fighting. So that was kind of an interesting thing. And then later on, towards the round the second and third act, the third act of the film, I was like, wow. This almost reminded me of those action movies that you would see from the late 90s or in the early 90s. Stuff like that. I was like, they are actually learning stuff that works as a masterpiece film. And the director gets a thumbs up, and the screenwriting part, they do fine here. My only complaint about the writing in this film, I wish they fleshed out a couple of characters in the film. I wanted to see more on that. I wanted them to flesh out some of the characters. That was one of my negatives. I wanted to see why the villains, what were they up to, why they're doing this. They didn't kind of flesh that out much. And there's some side characters that are with Logan Marshall's side that I wish, like, for example, like the cops, I wish they fleshed that out more in the film. I wish they showed us why, like, them, because you actually won't care about the side characters much in this film. That's one of the things. And one of my other negatives is I want to see more with Logan Marshall, with his wife, played by Melanie Vallejo. Excuse me if I pronounced the name wrong. I wanted to see more of that a little bit in the film, and I want to see how their relationship was more, because basically that's what he's going revenge for, and I want to see a little bit more of that. So that's kind of was like, I wanted the movie to be a little bit longer, about probably like an hour and 50 minutes, because usually action movies, I want like an hour 50 minutes for some little bit backstory on why the guy's going for revenge. Usually for a revenge movie, I would like to see more of that, but that's one of the negatives. One of the things that left me shocked about this movie is the third act, how they made it like a surprise twist that I didn't see coming. The way the third act was going, where Gray Trace was looking for the guy that killed his wife, it left me surprised how they did it. I was like, in the last 10 minutes, the way it was going, I was just like on the edge of my seat, didn't know what was going to happen. And when it did happen, I was like, whoa. And it leaves questions on, is it going to be a sequel to this movie? I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking, in my brain, I'm just like, I think it's a sequel. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think, because it leaves something. If you know, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I just didn't see that coming. As all this time in this film, it was just like, you're like, huh? And you're like, oh, that was like that the whole film. But in it, it caught my surprise. But it was like that. It was a surprise. I'm not gonna go on about it because I might get into spoilers, and I want you to check it out to see it, what I'm talking about. Like I said, overall, this movie is good. I just had little issues with them not fleshing out some of the characters. But all films have their flaws, and this one does. But it doesn't change anything, because I had a enjoyable time with this film. Wouldn't say it's the best, like, top-notch film of like 2018, like an action drama film, but this one is really good. I recommend you checking this out, and I'm going to give Upgrade a solid B. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think about the film? Did you like it or not? And let me know, what is your favorite drama, action, revenge movie? If I was to think on top of my head, probably John Wick, the first movie, 2014. That's a great film. Check that one out if you haven't seen it yet. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, click thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, click subscribe and the bell button for updates on my channel, for reviews, ranks, or anything, whatever I do on my channel. That's why I can see you next time on Sly the Movie Guy. Peace.